What's up, guys? Brett Okamoto from ESPN, joined by UFC lightweight Beneil Dariush, who I think, as we all know, I thought, Beneil, that there was a good chance, we would be having conversations in the beginning of March. We'd be talking about your career. We'd be talking about a lot of different things, right? I didn't think, obviously, we didn't draw it up. You did not draw it up for it to look like this. We're not talking about a fight against Islam Makhachev on the 26th in Vegas. We're talking about what happened to you. Why were you unable to make it to that fight? I mean, I think that's the obvious place to start, right? We were like about 10 days out from the fight, something like
It
that.
was a Tuesday, so I think 11 days out exactly.
11 days out from the fight. Tell us what happened.
Woke up feeling super good. Weight was the best it's ever been. I was 171 in the morning, and I was like, man, this is incredible. So I had some bone broth as usual. I had some dates to get some sugar in me, and then I went into practice, and I've been feeling so good. I've been having people alternate. I've been making sure I have fresh guys on me all the time, and that was basically what I was doing. I had a striker in Urush first, and then I put a collegiate wrestler on me, but only wrestling situations, and then I had one more guy after that. And then on my third guy, it was me who actually made the mistake. I grabbed my partner, I lifted him up, and as I was about to bring him down, my toe got stuck in the mat like never before. And when brought him down, I brought him down over my knee and my ankle, and in the way my ankle twist, I don't even know, but it ended up snapping my fibula, which is the small bone in my leg, and that was it. I couldn't believe it.
Snapping it. It's
Yeah, I got a nice little crack in there. We thought that the ankle was gonna be pretty much gone too, but the ankle is actually okay. So thank God.
When it happens, what's going through your mind? Like,
It's just like, oh God, no, 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 please, no. Like, because I kind of had a feeling, man, as soon as it happened, because I haven't heard a crack like that in my leg ever before. I broke my chest before a fight like 3 weeks before, and I remember the crack, and I broke my foot and toes in my other leg, and I heard a crack, but this one sounded worse than the previous. So I knew something was up, and that's why right away I was like, I got to go to the hospital. And I got up, I limped my way into the hospital, and I got there thinking something's wrong with my ankle. And they're like, you broke your leg.
man, so you you got a broken bone, you got a broken fibula. Obviously, I think the question becomes then of, okay, how do we recover, right? What are the options? What's the time frame? Like, from that point on, what were some of the conversations you were having with physicians?
Man, this is the one that really stressed me out. I went to see multiple physicians. It ended up being like four different physicians. The first one said, it's just a broken fibula. You'll be fine. I was worried about my ankle, so obviously I went to see a specialist after that. And the specialist, when he saw my ankle and how swollen it was, I probably went too early to this guy. It was really swollen. He's like, it's probably gonna need surgery. And if my ankle, if the tendon that they were talking about was damaged the way they thought it was, I'd be out for 4 to 5 months before I can start really training. But thank God it's not. It's just the fibula. I went to the other guys, and once the swelling had gone down more, and they're like, no, it's fine. So the first doctor had some not so good news, and then the rest of the doctors, when they got a better look at it, they're like, no, it's fine.
Is one of those situations where, like, the fact that you're a fighter, does it make a difference as opposed to which route you go?
It can, because I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people don't like doing physical therapy. It's if you're willing to jump in there and do a ton of physical therapy, your recovery can be faster and you can be better than before. And that's something I've done. When I tore my MCL, I tore my MCL. I think like 2 weeks before I fought with your car, but I didn't really have too much pain in it, just some instability. It wasn't similar. So I did the fight, and afterwards they're like, "You want to do surgery?" I was like, "Well, what can I do? Is PT gonna do the same thing?" They're like, "Yeah, PT will do the same thing, and the road is about the same in terms of recovery. I was like, so why would I jump into surgery?
Mhm. If you had the surgery, what is it like? Is it like a plate or like a rod that they put in there?
Yeah, they would put a rod in there, but I also spoke to the doctors. They're like, well, if it heals by itself, the leg will be stronger than it was before. It'll I think calcify is what they said. I'm not sure, but it'll be stronger than it was before. So it's really the ankle that would need surgery. The surgery would be either there's like two different tendons. One was the deltoid. I forgot which one's the other one, but those two would need those two would be the ones that if they're damaged, they definitely need surgery. And if they need surgery, that's a process for recovery.
So essentially, to try and put this in simple terms, it sounds like you need to give your bone time to calcify and just mend itself, and then use
Yeah,
physical therapy to like get up the flexibility and weight bearing again. Is that about
yeah.
right?
So the physical therapy comes in for the ankle. The ankle right now is going to get weaker and it's going to get lazy, and also the certain ways you sleep and things you do, it's going to get tighter, and so the ankle goes downhill, and the physical therapy is really just to keep the ankle healthy. And if the ankle's healthy, I should be able to be 100%. 6 to 8 weeks is what they're saying.
6 to 8 weeks, man. How do you feel about, like, obviously I'm sure you're still disappointed about losing the fight, but how do you feel about 6 to 8 weeks?
Yeah, man. I mean, at first he was talking about 4 months just to start training again, and so when I heard 6 to 8 weeks, I almost started crying again. Man, it was a rough week for me. I I was joking with my wife. I'm like, man, I've never cried so many times in front of my daughter. This is the most embarrassing week of my life. And but yeah, but fortunately we got some good news finally.
So Saturday when Islam, well, first, so Saturday when Islam fights Bobby Green, what were you doing?
I was on forced vacation with my wife. My wife's like, we got to get out of here. You're depressing me too. So she took me to Cabo thinking, it's all inclusive. I don't have to walk a lot. And then she ended up making me walk everywhere. So we were in Cabo, and we were sitting in the hotel. It was like a bar area or something to watch the fight. And everybody was texting me like, "Oh, are you rooting for Bobby?" And I was like, "No, I'm rooting for the best guy. Whoever's the best guy is gonna win." And I just don't think Bobby has the skill set to beat Islam. So, my wife asked me too, like, "What do you think?" I think Islam. I told her first or second round for Islam. I just don't. I mean, no disrespect to Bobby, but the there's a difference in skill set, and in the stand up they might be very close, but in the ground game it's like a different world.
Yeah. So anything you were able to take anything from that fight, or was
um I kind of had a feeling like Islam wanted to do a lot of trips and clinching, and I saw it a little bit in the beginning, and then Bobby ran away, and then Islam shot a double leg. So that it kind of went the way I thought. In the striking it's hard to see a lot, but yeah, I picked a little things here and there, but nothing too crazy. It's just Islam's distant management is really good, keeps himself safe, and goes from there.
so Dana White said something in an interview with Barstool Sports today. However, before we get to what he said, I want to ask you, what did you think was going to happen? Like, Islam beats Bobby, they're kind of moving on. Like, where was your mind frame in terms of like, well, what's going to happen with me?
Yeah, I was so bummed. At first I thought it was gonna be he's gonna get the title shot, because right after his fight, uh my wife told me, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm watching all the post-fight stuff." She's like, "Stop it, just let's go out or something." And I'm like, "No, I want to watch it." And I heard them saying, "Oh, Dana said that he's got the title shot and things like that." So again, I went crashing into sadness or whatever you want to call it. But then I was like, okay, I guess this isn't it. And then I started looking at the top 10. I'm like, who am I going to fight next? Who's going to be my next matchup? So that was kind of where I was at. And then, also trying at the same time be like, okay, I'm also on vacation, be on vacation. But man, it's always in my mind, I haven't fought in almost a year. I love fighting. My first year and a half in the UFC, I fought like 7 times. So like it's all I've been thinking about. That's the one thing about getting older and getting bigger I hate is I don't get to fight as much.
Yeah, yeah. So like, were you thinking that you were probably gonna have to fight someone like down the rankings? Is that kind of where you're like,
Yeah,
probably what's gonna happen?
I was looking at Galipsky. That was somebody I was looking at. Who else was there? I'm trying to think right now. Not Hooker because he's not in the division anymore. Not really Connor because I don't think
Yeah.
he's not really in the division either.
Like Fazeev, Sarukian, maybe like those types of
Well,
guys.
I mean, Fazeev was supposed to fight Hoffa at the time, so I didn't. But yeah, Fazeev would have been another one. And then, man, Armand looked awesome. I was really impressed with him. But yeah, so that would be another guy, I guess. Yeah, those were the people I was looking at, and man, I've just playing it all over in my head again. Okay, how we're gonna get back in and approach this?
Yeah. But then this week, UFC 272, Dana gives an interview and says, Islam was going to take the RDA fight. I don't know why he didn't end up taking the fight. I need to see that fight between him and Dariush because I love that fight. And if he gets by Dariush, then he definitely deserves a title fight. So it all gets very interesting. So where did you hear this? And then, what was your reaction to it?
My wife and one of my buddies messaged me. I was sleeping right now, and then as soon as I woke up, my wife is like shoving it in my face, and my buddy was texting me about it too, and I was like, oh my gosh, I guess it's real. And I was just like, hey, I really want to see this fight too. So I got so stoked. I was like, yes, thank God, man. We're gonna get rescheduled. I mean, I feel bad for Islam. I'm sure he's not very happy about the situation, but this is the ideal situation for me where I get this fight rebooked. Yeah, I know he's probably thinking, oh, 10 fights in a row, this and that. What's his name beat Dan Hooker and got a title shot. He's probably thinking I deserve a title shot too. And then, man, Tony Ferguson lost to Charles. Charles got a title shot. Same thing with Justin Gaethje, a title shot. So, I beat Tony, and there's no title shot for me either. So, I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts in my head about this whole thing. I'm trying to put myself in everybody's shoes, and it is what it is. I'm just gonna do my part.
When do you think that the fight could happen? Because you've got a recovery, and then he's got Ramadan. So have you thought about when the fight could happen?
When is Ramadan exactly? Because it changes. It's not always the same.
This year, I'm not sure. Let me find out right now, actually. April 2nd to May 2nd. So maybe like June?
Yeah, I mean, if I could recover for June, that'd be great. I'd like to have another 10 weeks for this camp if possible. If it's shorter, then it's shorter, but that would be ideal. So if that's what it looks like, that's what it looks like. June, July, those are good dates. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. And then last thing on Islam, we're kind of talking about things that needed to be sorted out, and you don't need to sort them out today, obviously, but would you really campaign for it to stay a 5-round fight, or do you not necessarily care?
I could care less. It's all the same to me. I mean, 5 rounds now and then 5 rounds for the belt makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I feel like with our style, there's a good chance it's not going 5 rounds. I mean, he's getting a lot better at finishing, and I feel like I've gotten better at finishing as well. So it's not the biggest deal to me if it's 3 rounds or 5 rounds. And I'm sure he's the same way. I had guys alternating, like fresh guys alternating for me every round, just because if not, the training was becoming too light, so I couldn't go with the same person too long. So I'm sure it's the same for him.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm still disappointed for you that you couldn't have that fight on 26th, but I'm happy for you, man. That's 6 to 8 weeks. I didn't know, you and me had been kind of texting on the side, and you're like, okay, I got an update, and I didn't know what you were going to tell me today. So
yeah,
6 to 8 weeks doesn't sound. It sounds like on the better side of what it could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple of days after the break, I wasn't walking. Like I couldn't walk. I had crutches and a boot, and I was in so much pain. And then a couple of more days passed, and I started walking with a little bit of pain, and I was walking like a snail or a turtle or whatever. And I thought to myself, man, this might be worse than I thought. And then as every day went by, I got a little bit better, and now I'm able to walk with barely a limp. So as soon as I could kind of put some weight on it, I can get back to drilling. I could be, man, I could get back to work real quick, and I miss working, man. So that's, I'm looking forward to that.
All right, man. Well, no more tears in front of the daughter. Only positive, good times ahead.
Yeah, for now, for now, yeah.
And
We'll save him for some other stuff. No more about fighting.
and yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I know I'm sure that a lot of fight fans are excited to see that there is a good possibility that we can still see this fight, hopefully this summer. So thanks for the time, man. And we'll stay in touch. You know, let us know how it's going, and hopefully we'll see you booked in a fight soon.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good. We'll stay in touch.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.